So I'm sure that you guys have heard by now that Country Music Television pulled Jason Aldean's music video, Try That in a Small Town, after left-wing media backlash. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this, but it keeps popping up in the headlines. There's some good takes out there. There's some really bad takes out there, and we're going to be unpacking some of this today. But before we do, you guys, welcome back to the channel. I am back at the home studio, no longer East Coast. I might go back next month, but please be patient on the videos coming out, because I do all the editing. It takes me a little bit, so just, we got some good stuff coming though, for sure. Stay tuned for that. Lastly, this video is sponsored by my friends over at Native Path. Huge shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. So, we got a tweet here from Colin Rugg. New Country Music Television has pulled Jason Aldean's music video, Try That in a Small Town, in response to media outrage. In the music video, Aldean calls out left-wing violence, specifically violence against law enforcement. Apparently, this is controversial and hateful, according to the left. There's a whole thing that we're going to be unpacking here, and it really has to do with the broader picture of the left not wanting to talk about left-wing violence at all, not wanting to talk about 2020 at all, and making insanely bad arguments to basically pin Jason Aldean here as some like white supremacist Nazi. It's actually out of control. I'm pretty shocked by what some people have said. After looking at the lyrics, we'll check those out in a sec. Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. So far, it sounds like every other rap song that you hear, but hold on. You think it's cool? Well, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Criticizing people doing that. If this was just a standard rap song with those lyrics and not saying, yeah, you think you're tough, people would be like, oh, this bumps. Okay, nobody would talk about it. Nope, there wouldn't be a peep. Quote, well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Pretty reasonable message, sense of community, protecting one another. Pretty, like, a fantastic line, actually. I don't even listen to Jason Aldean. That's a great line. I like that. I don't know if he wrote it, but who cares? It's great. Rapping about drugs and murdering people? Yes. Singing about standing up to lawlessness? No. And this is a general pattern that we're seeing when it comes to people defending themselves in the United States, protecting their communities, all that. No. If you're not a part of just some destroying some inner city community or anything like that, you can't have your nice thing. You just stop that. Don't protect your nice stuff. But that's a lot of what the media outrage is about. Let's check out just a little bit of this music video. I want to show you guys the visuals just so we can get an idea. We're not going to watch the whole thing, obviously.
Pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag and light it up.
So, a lot of footage from 2020, the Summer of Love. And for anybody new, I spent a lot of that summer in 2020 going out and recording these riots from Antifa, BLM, other radical defund the police groups, all of this. So I've seen it firsthand. We've seen it firsthand. We're not supposed to talk about it anymore, right? The focus needs to be January 6th. Don't talk about anything else. Tons of violence, tons of riots. For about 100 days straight, it almost seemed like there was a riot somewhere within the country, and a major riot happening. In Portland, Oregon, they rioted for 100 days straight, actually 100 days straight, outside and around the Marco Hatfield Federal Courthouse. So, yeah, big deal. He uses a bunch of this footage throughout the music video. Talked about, yeah, if you want to misbehave, you can do that in your city. But you come to a small town, we'll actually stand up for ourselves. Not the worst message. I wanted to highlight this really quick. We have Babylon B. Conservative dismayed to wake up and find out he has to defend Jason Aldean's music. Super funny. I've seen comments like that. People are just saying, oh, Jason Aldean's not even from a small town. This is just modern country, and who cares about it? Or they'll say Jason Aldean's made anti-2A comments, we shouldn't be standing with him, whatever. I know that conservatives can get very excited when somebody says something that they agree with, and they'll defend them even though they have a long history of other stuff. I don't think it's actually about defending Jason Aldean here as much. We can table that. I think overall, Jason Aldean seems to do a pretty good job. He's made some anti-gun comments. Whatever. Who cares? It's not the point. The point is the reaction, the insane reaction that people are having to this music video, exposing and talking about left-wing violence. That's the focus. All right, everyone, let's take a few moments to talk about today's sponsor. Now, it is summertime, and you're probably or hopefully hitting the gym, which MSNBC is now saying is a right-wing activity. But if you're like most people, you probably started to notice some joint pain or bone-on-bone pain. The reason for this is not just your age, it's actually linked to reduced collagen levels in your body. You see, by your 30s, natural collagen levels start to decrease by about 1.5% each year. That's why supplementing with collagen protein is the most important thing you can do to maintain strong joints and bones. It's proven to accelerate tissue recovery, minimize wrinkles, enhance hair follicle thickness, and promote joint strength and pain-free motion, which again is crucial if you're being active. Who wouldn't want more collagen when it does all this? And here's the good news. Right now, when you go to stopboneonbone.com/Klug, you can stock up on Native Path Collagen at up to 55% off today. That's stopboneonbone.com/Klug. I will put links down in the description below. Let's get back into the video. Anyways, Shannon Watts ends up tweeting out. This was a major tweet that kind of blew up. 12.2 million views on Twitter. Almost 34,000 likes. Shannon says, Jason Aldean, who was on stage during the mass shooting at Las Vegas concert in 2017 that killed 60 people and wounded over 400 more, has recorded a song called Try That in a Small Town about how he and his friends will shoot you if you try to take their guns. First of all, Shannon, you posted up the lyrics, and it's not even really about that. So you missed it there, but she's just trying to appeal to her base, trying to create outrage, and deliberately trying to be stupid and lying, because that's what these people do. We can look at a few lyrics. Sucker, you guys have already heard it. Sucker punch somebody on a sidewalk, carjack an old lady, blah, blah, blah. Cuss at a cop, you think you're tough. We'll try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. So highlighting these riots and destroying these communities, I recommend you don't try that in a small town. The message still resonates. It doesn't matter if he's not from a small town or anything like that. It's a powerful message, and it actually is. It's a great message. Defend yourself, defend your community. You take care of one another. There's no mention of race here or anything like that. So if she is talking about one part, she's probably talking about this right here. Got a gun my granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. Well, that crap might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. This is pretty like, it's like PG-13 lyrics here. It might even be PG. So yeah, defend your small town. Next one we have Sheryl Crow, who's been irrelevant for the last 10 years, says, at Jason Aldean, I'm from a small town. Even people in small towns are sick of violence. There's nothing small town or American about promoting violence. You should know that better than anyone, having survived a mass shooting. They keep making this about a mass shooting. Oh, so if he talks about defending his community and working together and not tolerating people harassing police officers within their community. Now, the counter argument is you've experienced a mass shooting. These are two different things, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because most people can't process that, and they just think that's a good argument. It has something to do with guns, therefore mass shooting, therefore that's their argument. The most disingenuous people ever, because it's obviously not about promoting violence. It's obviously not about promoting violence. It's about stopping violence. It's about rejecting that attitude that these people all have, Sheryl Crow, of allowing the violence within communities and probably even cheering it on, if I had to guess, for most of these people when it comes to this radical left-wing violence that we've seen over the years. It's about defending yourself and protecting your community from violence. But that's very clear. Again, these people are just liars. They're absolutely liars. Brianna Lyman over at the Daily Caller brought up a great tweet. And I know I know we already know this, and I know I've already basically brought this up. However, she pulled up a couple examples. She said, "Did we collectively forget that rap music exists? Here are just 2 examples of violent lyrics. Maybe if Sheryl Crow cared about violence, she'd focus her efforts elsewhere. This song is clearly about self-defense in the face of lawlessness." Well said, Brianna. I'm gonna have to censor my language in real time here. F her first, yeah, loaded up the 44, yo. Then I straight smoked the HO. That's just typical rap lyrics. No, but these people don't care about this stuff. They don't care about it because it doesn't suit the agenda. The real thing is combating people standing up for their sense of community, rejecting left-wing violence. You want to do that? Okay, we're going to go after you and we're going to cancel you. But if you talk about destroying your own community and actually causing real damage and glorifying gang violence and abusing women or murdering women, fine. You do that. As long as you're on our side, that's totally okay. These people are absolute hypocrites. We have Justin Jones, state representative in Tennessee, saying, "As Tennessee lawmakers, we have an obligation to condemn Jason Aldean's heinous song calling for racist violence." So the narrative keeps expanding here. What a shameful vision of gun extremism and vigilantism. "We will continue to call for common sense gun laws that protect all our children and communities." So now Jason's being called a racist. How dare you talk about protecting your community? Also, these people talk about racist violence. It's probably because he highlighted the riots in 2020, and those were not all black people. A lot of white people. Antifa is, I would argue, overwhelmingly majority white. But these people see, oh, okay, he's talking about crime. He's talking about spitting in police officers' faces. He must be talking about black people. They draw that line. These people draw that line from spitting in the face of police officers, burning the flag, to black people. At the very least, what does that show about what they think about the black community in the United States? Greg Price ended up tweeting on the View. This is brutal. So, moron Alyssa Farah says the line in Jason Aldean's song where he says, "Try that in a small town," referring to crimes and riots. They made that very clear. They even included visuals, so you know what they're talking about in the music video. "See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own." How divisive, how toxic. It's terrible. Made her think of Ahmaud Arbery.
So for a lot of my friends and family who are legal gun owners in small communities, they're like, yeah, that's what we do if someone breaks into a store. He's talking about the right to defend yourself. What I thought of when I read that was Ahmaud Arbery. I think of a black man in a small town in the South who literally just got...
Oh, my God. I think that might win... Yeah, I think that wins the dumbest take. That might win the dumbest take. So when she hears all of that happening, right? When she hears about these lyrics, cuss out a cop, spit his face up on the flag, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. Okay, when she hears all that, you got the music video showing the Summer of Love, 2020 riots, BLM, Antifa, other left-wing extremist groups. When she hears all that, she thinks about Ahmaud Arbery. Where did you get that from? He has something to do with that? Is that her argument there? Is that the point she's making? No, these people just want to pull at the heartstrings of the American public. It doesn't matter if it's a nonsensical argument, as long as they can all repeat the same thing. And the underlying message here is that the video and the lyrics and the song is racist. And that's what the American people are going to take from this stuff. A lot of people ask me when I'm out on the street interviewing people, they ask me if the media propaganda works on just the general public, and it absolutely does. If you say something's racist enough, it doesn't matter if it's nonsensical. It matters to people that seek truth like you guys, but it doesn't matter if it's nonsensical. These people know it's nonsensical. They're liars. And they all do this, and then the public, they hear it over and over again. They don't have that much time to look into it or see if it makes sense. A lot of people don't take the time. Maybe they have the time, but they don't take the time to do that. And the general understanding will be, that's a racist song. Wow, that's not good. And I wanted to highlight this really quick. because it's so insane. I remember when January 6th happened and all these left-wing activists were talking about how bad rioting is and all that. But these left-wing activists, these people had been silent through the 2020 riots and even encouraging the 2020 riots. And I made sure at this time to get this rhetoric on video just because we knew they were going to change their minds. We knew they were going to end up regretting it if they were reminded about it, their rhetoric. But I want to show this part really quick.
Even though rioting is not okay, even though it's not okay, it gets a message sent. Look at the justice we've had already. Look at all the justice we've had already. Even though a lot of people don't like it, it is essential. And sometimes we do need it so they can see the strength and numbers that we have.
Yeah, so that was just one of the protests that I went to, interviewing people talking about that topic. And I have a full video about this. I'll put the link down in the description below. But this rhetoric was common. It was common to not only stay silent about the violence that was happening every other day, it seems like, and people were dying. We're talking about billions of property damages of private property, not just federal government. And I mentioned earlier Portland. I mentioned earlier Portland. At the Marco Hatfield Federal Courthouse, they tried to burn that down with federal agents inside. So a lot of people, just because they tried to memory hole this whole summer of love, a lot of people start to forget about how actually violent it was. Anyways, I could go on and on and on about examples about this, but this was the rhetoric. And this still today is the rhetoric for left-wing violence. But when you start to talk about summer of love and put it in a music video, this is the extreme reaction you get. Don't talk about that. Don't talk about that at all. And don't say you'll stand up against it either. Because what are we going to do? We'll come out as a team and the mob will call you racist. Not Brianna. But the mob will call you racist. We will shape that narrative for the American public and we will destroy you. That's the reaction that they have for talking about left-wing violence. Very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. I'm going to finish up right here saying that Jason Aldean, I'm not going to read this whole thing. However, he did release a tweet saying he's not backing down, which mad respect to Jason Aldean for doing this. Mad respect. In the past 24 hours, I've been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, a song that's been out since May. It's been out since May. They just recently got outraged by it. And was subject to the comparison that I, direct quote, was not too pleased with the nationwide BLM protests. These references are not only meritless, but dangerous. There's not a single lyric in the song that references race or points to it, and there isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage. And while I can try and respect others and have their own interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far. Anyways, this is what he says. Oh, and he brings up how people say he was at a mass shooting. It literally has nothing to do with what the song is. Try that in a small town for me refers to the feeling of a community that I had growing up where we took care of our neighbors regardless of differences of background or belief because they were our neighbors. How controversial is that? Anyways, it's very clearly what the song's about. But he doubles down. He doesn't apologize. I'm so sorry that this was offensive and we'll take it down and I'm so sorry. He didn't do that. No, he doubled down and he said, you know what? I'm going to defend this song. He stands by it. And it's actually not a bad song. I like some country music. They did a pretty good job on it. I like the lyrics. But good to see that he's not backing down. We love seeing that. Never apologize to these people. Never, ever, ever apologize to these people. People feel the need to apologize even when they don't because they think it's going to settle things down. Never helps. They only feel, more powerful after you do it. You never apologize to these psychopaths. We'll finish up here. Try that in a small town. Big shocker is now the #1 song in America after leftists cry about it. Hey. Big ups to Jason Aldean. You guys, let me know what you think about all this madness down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next time I post. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.